Okay, well, at least we're here. I just thought I'd make this sort of short video. I've got to go to school in a minute, so I can spend the entire day lying in a fetal position in a toilet cubicle, mumbling about UKIP. But anyway, I just wanted to express my opinion on something. Now, this has been going on for a few weeks now. It's basically another leftist shite storm, to be frank, about this Donald Sterling guy. He's basically an NBA sort of manager for a team, the Clippers. I believe I don't really know shit about sport. I'm sure you can tell. But he basically came out and made some remarks regarding black people. I think he was talking to I forget who he was talking to now, but he made a remark saying, "Why do you post pictures of yourself associating with black people on Instagram? You shouldn't do that." Now, admittedly, that can be perceived as an offensive remark, but you see, like, the amount of coverage this thing is getting, and the amount of just ridiculous outcry that's happening is insane. Really, basically, this man comes out and exercises his right to free speech, which, as we all know, is the leftist's worst nightmare. Um, you're allowed to have free speech and freedom of expression, just so long as you're not a Republican, or so long as you share our views entirely. Yeah, and you have people crying out. People have been going insane on their blogs, rambling. Donald Sterling should be arrested. He should be executed. Which is just fair enough. A bunch of people sitting at home ranting about it. That's fine. But this has been turned into like some sort of international tragedy of sorts, or some sort of international show. If you didn't hear recently, the most recent update was that he was banned from the NBA for life and fined $1 million, $1 million for exercising his right to free speech, basically. He's been fined $1 million and basically had his enterprise, his business taken away from him, his job, for hurting someone's feelings, which I think is completely absurd. Really, you have these leftists and these liberals crying out, oh well, you've got to fight the patriarchy and the tyranny of the Republicans, but this is, by definition, this is tyranny. You can say all you want about the Republicans, how them being opposed to abortion is a violation to women's rights, even though I stopped seeing it as a women's rights issue long ago. I see it as more of a fetal rights issue. I mean, women are allowed to do it, so I fail to see how it's a women's rights issue. Um, but you can say what you want about the Republicans, but in all actuality, they're really the ones that want to preserve some of the biggest values of sort of freedom we have over in the Western world, the kind of things that separate us from being Saudi Arabia. Apart from the whole executing the gays thing. Although, given the leftist agenda, if they have their way, some of these people on Tumblr, then they'll just start executing the straights pretty soon. But yeah, say what you want about them, but they stand for free speech, and they say it can't be violated, whatever the cost. And you have these leftists coming out and turning this into an international tragedy. You have the Guardian and the BBC reporting on it now, and people jeering on the sidelines. Like, really, this man far away from you had dared to exercise his right to free speech and happened to have some sort of offensive opinion, and you're all jeering him on to get bankrupt and to lose his business. Now, if people want to stop doing business with him after this, then I guess that's fine. But turning this into some sort of international showcase or circus where leftists are jeering on, this is the worst man to have ever existed. It just makes no sense. All he did was express his opinion. This man far away from us, hundreds of thousands of miles away, and people want to see him hang, essentially. And really, it's just more proof of like I mentioned before in my was my video about President Museveni's remarks of Uganda. I mentioned that this I think was it Cambridge? A Cambridge University scholar or something was saying that free speech should be limited on campus because it hinders liberalism, which really says a lot about this whole movement and this whole political ideology. Really, as far as I'm concerned, free speech should never be censored at all. People always, I mean, I consider myself to be relatively right-wing, and people will always call you a tyrannical bastard for being vaguely right-wing, but I just see all of these people coming out and saying, well, it might hurt someone's feelings, so free speech has to be censored, with state intimidation in some cases, such as in the UK, where you can get arrested for making a sexist comment towards someone on Twitter, which just shows how far sort of down the tyranny road we are over here. See, that's what I wanted to say about the whole Donald Sterling case. He shouldn't... Oh yeah, and another thing, Barack Obama himself came out and said a few things about it. I'm sure you might have heard the speech right now, but he basically just gave a 15-minute long speech about how, this guy's offensive and he's ignorant and, the NBA should punish him. It's like, dude, you're the president of the United States. You probably have a few more important issues to be worrying about right now than some guy exercising his right to free speech. But of course, people are jeering him on and acting like it's completely normal that there should be at the height of the president of the world's most powerful country. That he's come out and said something and called for this man to be boycotted